Let's be honest, winter can feel heavy. The light fades, motivation dips, and even small things start to feel a lot harder. But here's the truth, it is not just in your head, it is also in your biology. Less sunlight changes brain chemistry. Our serotonin drops and melatonin rises. Your whole system starts to slow down. But there are ways to work with winter instead of fighting it. Today, I'm sharing 10 powerful rituals rooted in science and soul to help you stay grounded, focused, and emotionally alive all season long. Let's begin. Hi, I'm Amy Rose White. I'm an integrative psychotherapist making videos on psychospiritual self-healing tools. So number one, morning red light. You've probably heard of bright light therapy lamps, and they work. And I've talked about them in my other seasonal depression video. But few people know about red and near infrared light, wavelengths between 660 and 850 nanometers. These don't just wake you up, they actually really change your cells. They boost mitochondrial energy, your body's internal batteries basically. And that means more energy, sharper focus, and a steadier mood. So what you're supposed to do is sit in front of a red light panel for 5 to 10 minutes each morning, face and chest exposed. Feel that soft warmth, like a sunrise that your body can feel. And if you can combine that with real sunlight, even just a few minutes by the window, you'll double the effect. It helps your body remember that it's morning and it's time to rise. So number two, nature bathing, even in the cold. When the air is cold, we tend to hide indoors. That is for sure here, very true. I live in a cold, dry climate, but winter nature is truly medicine. The Japanese call it shin-in-yoku, forest bathing. I'm sure you've heard of this. So we're not talking about hiking or even exercise, but just being among trees. When you do this, dopamine rises and cortisol drops. Your parasympathetic nervous system, which is basically your calm mode, rest and digest, turns on. And even 10 minutes outside can shift your entire chemistry. So bundle up, step outside, walk slowly, notice the sounds, textures, and smells, the crunch of snow, the feel of your breath, the quiet of the world. It's not just mindfulness, it is really your vagus nerve reawakening. It's your body saying, I'm alive, I'm safe, and I'm here. Anytime we can be outside, and if you don't happen to live in a snowy environment or you're just feeling, I actually spent most of my life in the Pacific Northwest, so it was kind of just like a colder, rainier, drizzlier state and a slightly less colder, rainier, drizzlier state 9 months later. But anytime we can be really aware somatically of the environment around us, particularly trees, any smells, any textures, picking up leaves, if it's not too cold to take your gloves off, really allowing yourself to have your phone in your pocket at least, if not left behind at home or in the car. Just even if it's 10 minutes, routinely, minimum once a week, getting outside and being in nature, that aspect of the vagus nerve that runs from the brainstem down all the way through the spine into the gut and to the base of the gut begins to, like I just said, awaken to safety, because there's aspects of the vagus nerve can also signal danger. But the more connected we are to nature, which sadly, we are increasingly disconnected from it because we spend so much time indoors, and now even if we're outside, sadly, often on our phones or some kind of electronic device. So that has to be a priority, particularly for those of us that are prone to a bit of seasonal depression or mood dysregulation. Number three, contrast hydrotherapy, the hot-cold reset. So here's one that's both ancient and modern. After your regular hot shower, end with 30 to 60 seconds of cold water. Yes, cold. And I'm not talking about a cold plunge or 2 minutes, just hot, then cold. So that shock floods your body with norepinephrine and endorphins, but it doesn't overly stress your body out. It simply wakes up your circulation. It sharpens focus and instantly lifts mood. Start small, like maybe 10 seconds, then 20, then more. Max 30 to 60. So you're not punishing yourself and you're not doing Wim Hof. You're just training your nervous system to stay calm under stress in a new routine. And that skill really translates into life outside the shower too. It's a daily reminder that discomfort can be powerful. But more than anything, it simply is a really embodied somatic way of getting back in the body. And when we wake up when it's dark and cold, if we have that dip in serotonin, and not to mention all the other things that come along with seasonal changes like the holidays that can bring up a lot of old unconscious and conscious psychic material that is difficult, it can be so easy to just kind of stay in that really numb state. And I'm actually making a whole video about functional freeze and how to break out of that. But as a daily practice, this is one of my favorites because it's so easy and accessible. Most people take showers if we're so lucky to be housed in and have that ability to simply turn the water on to at least cold enough to like make your body have a response. But again, especially if you're a woman, not too long, 30 to 60 seconds makes a huge difference. Number 4, seasonal rituals, making the darkness sacred. So here's something a little deeper. Our psyche feels winter as a kind of symbolic of death, the end of warmth and of color and growth. And that, in addition to all those things I just mentioned, can stir sadness or resistance, but ritual gives it meaning. So light a candle at dusk each night. Make it your signal that the sacred evening is beginning. Write one line in a journal, something you're releasing or something you're grateful for. Maybe build a small winter altar that has a candle, a pine branch, a crystal that you love, something that reminds you of warmth and that the light will and does return. Those small acts become anchors. They tell your subconscious this darkness isn't empty, it's full and sacred. And in that moment, winter stops feeling like loss and starts feeling more like transformation and connection. Number 5, evening serotonin snacks to nourish your mood. So when the sunlight fades early, your serotonin naturally drops. That's why mood and sleep can get unstable. And one gentle fix is to eat a tryptophan-rich snack before bed. Foods like oats, bananas, turkey, pumpkin seeds, or warm milk. Pair them with complex carbs, so tryptophan crosses the blood-brain barrier, like oatmeal with banana, toast with turkey. And this is very different than emotional eating. It's neurochemistry support that's intentional. And this simple ritual nourishes mood and helps melatonin regulate naturally. And it's kind of your brain's way of saying thank you. Number 6, circadian bookends, rhythm for the soul. So think of your day like a song. If the beginning and the end are in tune, the middle flows. Set 2 non-negotiable anchors, your morning light and your evening wind down, for example. So in the morning, get that sunlight or red light exposure, ideally with movement or stretching. And in the evening, dim lights, no screens for at least an hour before bed, maybe a candle or gentle reading. Those bookends, especially when done consistently, stabilize your circadian rhythm. They tell your body you're safe, you're in rhythm, you can rest, and your sleep, hunger, and hormones all depend on that sense of consistency. Number 7, 40 hertz gamma music to brighten your brain. Here's a powerful yet simple ritual. 40 hertz gamma frequency music that you can look up on YouTube is a really helpful way to prevent seasonal depression because when daylight drops, brainwave coherence weakens, and gamma waves, which are around 40 hertz, are linked to focus, creativity, and joy. Listening to 40 hertz entrainment tracks can literally retune your brain. They're free on Spotify or YouTube, and you can play them while you work, stretch, or meditate. Within a few days, you might notice more clarity and your mental fog could start to lift. It could be thought of as sound therapy for your neurons, a way to bring sunlight into your mind. There's lots of other hertz, but that one is specific to what we're talking about today. Number 8, a little more hard work, which is lifting heavy, so strength as an antidepressant. When your energy is low, you might think you need rest, and sometimes you do. But there are other times that your body's actually really craving activation, and strength training, even short, intense sets, boost dopamine and BDNF, the compound that helps your brain grow new connections. You don't even need a gym. You can start with bodyweight squats, push-ups, or resistance bands. That would be enough, 3 or 4 times a week. I know that sounds like a lot, but it makes such a huge difference because when your body feels strong, your mind follows and you rebuild that confidence through your biology. Another reason that is so helpful and important is that when you commit to lifting heavy weights, there is this mind-muscle connection to getting through difficulty rather than kind of giving up and surrender. And there's a really positive kind of surrender, and then there's a negative kind that, as someone who's had to manage depression on and off throughout my entire life, it's very seductive to give in to that. Just stay in bed, particularly those of us that have a real fatiguing depression that can kick up in winter. Strength training really, it solidifies that commitment to showing up and not kind of invoking your will, which sometimes I actually have to ask the divine for help. You might even say a prayer to, have the mental strength to go through the physical exercises, the power to carry out what you know is best for you. And when you do it, when you commit to something that's really hard, because some of these other things aren't quite as mentally and physically challenging as lifting heavy weights, when you keep that commitment to yourself, you get out of that surrender kind of, I'm thinking in astrological terms like Piscean, getting lost in the soup of depression, because the confidence that comes through building strength and showing up in that commitment starts to really cancel out that desire to hide over time. And if you can just stick to this one for, I know it sounds like a long time, but 3 weeks, it becomes easier and easier to do it. Number 9 is grounding the energy back to the earth. So in winter, our energy tends to rise more into the mind. We overthink and we disconnect even more from our body. So one powerful remedy is to bring that awareness down. So hip opening yoga, qigong, or grounding breath work. Imagine your breath moving down through your legs and feet into the earth beneath you. This really is not woo-woo stuff. It's nervous system regulation through embodiment. When energy returns to the body, the mind can quiet and peace becomes possible again. So that might be as simple as imagining breathing down roots into the earth. And finally, number 10, a warm contact network, human light therapy. Connection. Isolation magnifies every winter low, and we are so wired for co-regulation, for shared emotional warmth. Before winter deepens, create a small core pod if you don't already have one. 2 or 3 friends, even if they're acquaintances, you agree to check in weekly. It can be a message, a tea date, a short call. It's not about constant contact, but it is about knowing someone will reach out. That sense of belonging is its own form of light therapy. Human light is just as healing as sunlight. So these 10 rituals are not about perfection. You don't have to do all of them. They're really about using some of them that resonate with you to can create and maintain rhythm. Winter is not something to survive. It's really something to listen to. And when we tend to our biology, our environment, and our inner life, the season transforms. So light your candle, step outside, lift, breathe, down, connect. Even in the darkest months, there is a quiet brilliance waiting for you to remember that light lives within you as you. Stay warm, stay connected, stay bright. And until next time, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be safe, and may you be at peace. Bye for now.